Mario's signature jump attack has some interesting bonus quirks that make it one of the best moves in the game. Though the menu screens don't mention anything, and it only shows a power of 25, repeated use of this move makes it stronger and stronger. Notice that I'm still level 1, yet the power keeps increasing. Awesome. This is keeping in line with the original Mario on the SNES. However, there is an odd difference. In the original, notice that the power of the jump is a good bit weaker starting off, despite it also having a magic power of 25. But this difference in attack is only in his magic attacks. His physical strength seems to be identical. Notice the perfect and the semi-perfect action command hits. So it seems like the remake gave a slight buff to special moves. Better get to jumping. The menu here has some pretty large upgrades, but has lost out on one pretty cool Easter egg. In the SNES version, if you held L and R and moved the D-pad, you can move around the background. Pretty neat. As you can see in the remake, it doesn't seem to work, but that's largely okay as there's enough new things here to tide us over. We have a bestiary. Every enemy we encounter appears here, and when we use Thought Peek, we can fill out their entry completely getting a checkmark. Wait a minute, in the original, Mallow had Psychopath, which was unlocked at level 6, so it's cool that we get this at level 1. Better get peeking. Princess Peach's original US name was actually Toadstool, to keep in line with the mushroom theme. In the Super Nintendo version, you can peruse her bedroom and find something marked ? Wonder what that is. Soon after, we are confronted and asked to put it back. In return though, we get a mushroom. And I'm delighted to say that this remains in the remake as well. Later when we come back, there is a toad outside who asks if we're here to steal anything again. The responses are excellent. In the end, it seems like everyone in the kingdom knows that Mario was perusing Peach's... what was it again? The beauty of Mario RPG is its endless charm and rewards for just being goofy. Not everything you do yields a prize, but it's still worth it. In the shop of the Mushroom Kingdom, you can jump on the back counter, which prompts the store owner to rightfully scold you to get down while you're giving a thumbs up. Another funny scene can happen if you stand on the toad that runs in circles just outside. Stay on too long and Mario passes out from getting dizzy. But my favorite moment is when you go to the Kira sewers. Mallow demonstrates how to go down the pipe. As Mario jumps atop, you can choose just to leave. And if you don't go down, Mallow quickly runs out screaming after you. I love the attention to detail here. The Pipe House has been renamed to Mario House, and you can see it better than ever. There's a couple of neat changes as well. Notice that we can better make out the signatures on the left. They appear to be Mario and Luigi, but where is Luigi? There's also what appears to be another signature on top of the sign as well, but I can't quite make it out. What do you reckon it says? Another cool detail is that the plain box in the original is now a storage box to hold extra items. And one final note, many houses have a cuckoo clock. In the original SNES version, it was always stuck at noon, but in the remake, we can show that the clock is ticking. Too bad no cuckoos come out when it strikes noon again. Maybe it could have been a birdo. Mario RPG is renowned for having missable items, but some have been fixed in the remake. In the original, you had just one chance to jump atop a moving toad to grab this secret invisible box atop a ledge that doesn't look like you can stand on it. If you miss it, well, too bad. Because if you come back later, despite there being toads here to jump on, the ledge is now unreachable. In the remake, things are different. First off, you can now grab a signal ring much earlier, allowing you to detect hidden treasures. On top of that, if you miss your first chance at this box, returning here later will still allow you to get it, as now these toads can help you get up there. Now that's a nice change. I know you all want me to cover more Zelda content. Well, here he is, sleeping soundfully. You can get this Easter egg by beating Bowyer in the forest maze. However, he is only here for a short while, so don't miss your chance to visit him in the Rose Town Inn during this time. If we get close, we can press A to hear this. A nice touch. But which Link is this? His yellow band on the brim of his hood and his long sideburns may suggest he is the hero of legend. Well, the new hero, as this Link would be from A Link Between Worlds. So this is where Link has been after his adventures. Always sleeping. Here is an Easter egg which may have influenced Mario RPG's future series, Paper Mario. In the paper-bound games, there is a badge called Feeling Fine. This badge makes it so the wearer is immune to almost all status effects. A wonderful badge. And though there aren't badges per se in Mario RPG, a Feeling Fine badge seems to be equipped by the boss, Punchinello. Look, I mean, they look identical. In fact, this is one of the few bosses that cannot be affected by any statuses, as shown by Mallow's Thought Peak. So I wonder if this was the origin to Feeling Fine after all. Huh. Whenever Mario saves the day, he usually gets a nice smooch from the princess. But in Mario RPG, there are other smooches he might get as well. While gathering Peach's dropped items around the wedding hall, there is a time limit which indicates which kiss Mario can get. And if you've collected everything before the third candle lights, you'll get a nice princess smooch. However, if you take too long and 3 to 4 candles light, then Mario gets some Bowser action. If you take 5 to 6 candles long, then you'll feel the prickly beard of Booster. And if you take longer than that, then look out, because Bowser and Booster are getting in on that plumber action. I love Peach's reaction. There are nearly endless ways to grab frog coins in this game, but I truly love finding them in ways that are both odd, obscure, and unexplained. For example, in the forest maze, you can see wigglers roaming around, and while you could just fight them by running into them, if you instead jump on their heads, you'll notice that Mario bounces off. And that's peculiar. This may be the only enemy where jumping on it doesn't start an encounter. If you manage to keep bouncing on it and get 10 in a row, you can score a free frog coin. Continue this as much as you like, but it is very difficult. So what's your favorite way to grab frog coins? Booster has some pretty sweet toys, but some are hard to see with the Peach doll sitting on top. So if you come back later, you can see everything in the toy box clearly. On top is Rob, the toy robot which accompanied the NES way back when. Next to that is Samus, the intergalactic bounty hunter. But there are a few here you might not recognize. At the bottom, we can see Discoon, the mascot of Nintendo's Famicom system. And to the right is a car which looks to be from Stunt Race FX, except no car in the game actually matches its design. The F-Type is the most similar, but their noses are different colors. There is one more toy as well in the front lobby. This action figure is a Magitech armor from Squaresoft's Final Fantasy VI. An excellent Easter egg to tie things together since Squaresoft helped Nintendo make this game. In the Mushroom Kingdom, you can visit an inn where a Toad kid is playing Game Boy. If you try to interrupt him, the little punk will be rude to you. This was definitely a trend in the 90s. But if you come back after rescuing the princess, you can buy his Game Boy game for 500 coins and unlock a secret game called Beatlemania in the menu. Depending on who your middle character is in your party, you can get different backgrounds throughout the game. Bowser and Peach get this classic screen from Super Mario World, whereas Mallow and Geno get this screen of the clouds. Oh, and if you can't beat the high score, don't bother. It doesn't seem like you get anything for beating it. But here's a helpful tip for those interested. When you die, you have to quickly mash the A button to get back. However, you can push either the A, B, or Y button, which can make mashing a little bit easier. I was able to revive myself over 40 times this way. Good luck. Everyone loves a good cheat code. In the 90s, it was common for games to have a sequence of buttons that would unlock a secret. Why start a game with 3 lives when you can have 30? Thanks, Konami Code. But Mario RPG also had a cheat code. Well, kinda. In the Japanese version, if you went to the start menu and input the code down, up, right, left, select start, B, you'd be greeted by Toad. Awesome. But what does he give you? Well, this is a giant joke by the devs. Toad would go around your screen and say, "Congrats, you entered the code," and proceed to mock you because nothing's changed. The US version of Mario RPG does not have this Easter egg, but they did include it in the remake. However, the inputs are slightly different due to the updated control schemes. The code is now down, up, right, left, L, R, L, R, B. Toad again comes up and says, "Wow, did anything change? Your stats? Your EXP? Nope." Cool. Pointless, but awesome. In Marymore, we have access to a luxury hotel inn where we can spend 200 coins in a suite. Staying there nets us some nice goodies, and a chance to take a hot shower. Mamma mia. But if one stay isn't enough, you can just turn the lights off and sleep again. But when you do this, something changes. Notice that the light physically turns away from Mario. Well, you know adventuring is tiring work, so let's sleep again, and again, and again, and you can just keep sleeping forever. Once you're fully refreshed, you can head down and the owner will mention that you overstayed your welcome. In our case, we may have stayed for 30 days. He asks for payment for the remaining days, and if you're broke like me, then he freaks out and makes you stay and acts as the bellhop to pay for it. Okay? So you wait for people to come in, take their things up, and see them out. which takes some time. But in our case, since we stayed for an entire month, we have to see out 30 guests non-stop to their rooms. Hope you're ready, because this took me clear over an hour. Man, I need a vacation. Mario RPG has plenty of minigames, but the one that thankfully saw the biggest change was the Yoshi Race game. The premise is simple. Bet cookies in a race and rhythmically press the A and B buttons to the beat. In the remake, the pattern is a simple alternating A and B press. In fact, the screen even gives you the prompts. It's far easier than the original, but back on the SNES version, the pattern is not the same, and the timing is wildly off. If you try just pressing A and B the same way you do in the remake, you'll stall out and go nowhere. But I've come up with a way to consistently win, but it's this wild galloping pattern. Instead of pressing the buttons down in the beat like you'd assume, alternate double pressing every button on every upbeat. It looks like this. Notice I use one of my fingers just to keep the downbeat going. After a lot of practice, you'll be scoring win after win without even using Yoshi cookies. But again, thankfully, the remake is much easier.